What's going on, you bunch of heretics? Grab your paint pots, grab your recaff, and let's put some paint on that ever-growing pile of potential. Because it's here, the Heresy is my therapy SlapChop tutorials. Today, we're just going to go through some common SlapChop mistakes. So without further ado, let's get to it. Let's begin. Okay, so I've got my salt intercessor right here. Whereas an intercessor, just a bit more of a dynamic pose. But the first point of call, okay, we need to go nice and dark on the first layer. Remember, we've got our Mechanica standard grey, and that's what we're going to use to base the model. I use my medium dry brush, and I ensure that I get a really good base dry brush of Mechanica standard grey. As always, shake off, plenty on, plenty on the brush. With our tissue, just make sure that we take it all off. Alright, you have to excuse the lighting. Okay, let's brush it off. And again, just in and around the brush, small circles, but this does not need to be neat in any way, shape or form. This is our initial base dry brush. So again, nothing neat, nothing wild. We reload our brush, take it all off, and then small circles, back on we go. So, initial dry brush, we make sure we get that first dark layer on, and we're going underneath everything, in the shadows as best as possible. And if you can't get to the shadows, it's okay, because that's where the shadow is, it's where the darkness is in it, which is absolutely fine. Okay. As you can see, I've gone all over with the grey. Under everything, that Mechanica standard grey, I've absolutely gone to town on it, ensuring a good dry brush, a good dry brush base. Okay, so that initial base, get it all on there. So you've got a good consistent layer on that dry brush. Okay, so initial base, remember we need to use all four: a dark grey, a medium grey, and then a light grey. And then we go to the white, which we'll do now. Okay, so we have now applied our Mechanica standard grey, our Administratum grey, and our Ulthran grey. Okay, now we need to make sure that we apply our either white scar or Corax white, and we're going to go a little bit lighter than you would expect. Okay, so we just go a little bit lighter. This is not done. Okay, this is not done. Oh dear, come on, focus. There we are. Give the people the focus they want, or not. So yeah, there you go. We'll get that Corax white on there now, or white scar. So like I say, here we are. We're going to go with our white scar. Okay, our white scar for this, and same again. Give it a quick shake. Oh dear. Grab your smaller dry brush. Get some on there. Take it all off. You know the routine. You've watched the fundamentals. And all we're going to do is, again, just down the model. Okay? Down the model. Down the model. In all the areas where the light is going to touch. So we're just keeping the model upright. We're not doing it under. We're just keeping the model upright. And we're really picking out all those areas where the light is naturally going to touch, going to fall on the model. And again, we're going a lot lighter than you think, okay? However, like I say, because we've got 4 layers of grey, or 3 layers of grey and 1 layer of white, instead of what most SlapChop videos will say is, or just 2 layers and you're good to go. Okay, that's the kind of theme I've been picking up on many of the tutorials out there. They're not going enough on the dry brushing. Okay, and like I say, you can really start to see it really take shape. And then we're just going to in there. Okay. If you need to, you can just stipple it over the top if you need to. But again, a lot lighter, as you can see. I'll just turn that off. But a lot lighter than you would probably expect. Okay, so make sure you go a lot lighter than you think. All right, there we go. Next up, thinning our paints on our model. As you can see, I've got my wet palette, an absolute must. So make sure you've got your wet palette. Many tutorials will say that, you know, you can go straight from the part straight onto the model. And you know what? That's, you can do, but personally for me, if you want a better result, you want to thin this paint down. As I say, 3-4 parts water to contrast paint, and you are literally just picking out just getting onto the areas that you want. You want it, remember, we're working light to dark, and we're just moving it all around. And also, like you see there, if it's thinner, it's a lot easier just to kind of wipe away if you feel like you've got it wrong. All right. So next one, whenever you're applying your paint by numbers contrast, we always go nice and thin, because you can always go into it a bit more. But we're nice and thin, and just placing it where we want it. So 3 to 4 parts contrast to water, not straight from the pot. All right. Okay, so as you can see, we've now got all of our colours on that we want in the places that we want them. This is where we're now going to apply the Zandari dust, or the Zandri dust. So we're going to apply the Zandri dust. Okay, so we've got all of our colours on, and this is the final part. So again, like you say, many videos will say, yeah, you can end it here, and that's fine if that's what you want to keep it as. That's absolutely cool. But really, what we're going to do now is we're going to add our Zandri dust onto the model. Okay. If you excuse the lighting. So as you can, as I say, Zandri dust. Okay, your Zandri dust. From here, small dry brush. Okay, small dry brush. Okay, layer it on, and you are taking it all off as much as you possibly can. Okay, take it all off as much as you can. Over a little bit, over the base a little bit, and we're going to work bottom to top. And all you're going to do, just nice and gently, just dry brush the entire model, and you will slowly, ever so slowly, start to see the change. Okay, I'll just bring that, I'll turn that off for you, and you can slowly already start to see the change in the model. The blotchiness is going, and it's now starting to create that effect that we are after. All right. So yes, very, very thin. Take off all the Zandri as best as you possibly can, and we just very, very lightly all over the model, with that Zandri dust. Okay, guys. Okay, and there you go. The effect that you're going to get once you've applied that dry brush of the Zandri dust over the top. It generally looks like a completely different model. Just mats it out nicely for that finish that we're after. Just taking away all the blotchiness and just tones it down a little bit. And then you just carry on as you want with your metallics, your basing, and then obviously the eyes as per the fundamental video. Boop. Well, there you have it. Just a few common mistakes and ways that we can make sure that we rectify those. So just to recap, that initial dry brush with that Mechanica standard grey, really just get all over the model. Hasn't got to be neat, just absolutely everywhere. Just get that first initial layer on. Next up, don't forget, go a little bit lighter than you think. We've got our dark grey, our medium grey, our light grey, and then that white. Again, dry brush down the model, go lighter than you think, okay? A little bit more, if you think it's not, if you think it's light, maybe go 10% more, okay? So lighter than you think. When it comes to the contrast paints, yep, many videos, they don't quite say, you can go, yep, slap chop, yeah, straight from the pot, boom, in you go. Thin those paints down. It's always better to go lighter. Remember, we work light to dark. Yep, light to dark. And we just thin those paints down, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, and you can always build from there. And of course, finally, that dry brush of Xandri dust at the very, very end, super, super thin amount. Take it as much of it off on the base, on your thumb, and then go over the model just to get that dusty effect. And you can always add more as you go on. So there you go. Just a few common mistakes from SlapChop that hopefully we've rectified on this video. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, give us a comment if it's helped you out, and of course, subscribe for more videos to come. Cheers guys, thanks a lot. See you on the next one. Bye bye.